here. YouTube is live also, and you guys get to watch as I make it. That way, if you want to come back and make it again, you can find the recipe on YouTube. So in my cast iron, I love to make this in the cast iron because it just keeps it cooking evenly, constantly, distributes the heat perfectly. And the chicken and the onion, I'm going to start that in the cast iron. And then I have dry walnuts. Walnuts, it's better to be walnuts, not pecans. So dry walnuts, and what you're going to do is roast them, dry roast them, no oil, nothing. And then it's 2 different steps. Then while the chicken is cooking, we're preparing the walnuts. We're going to dry roast them for our beautiful dish that's called fisenjun. It's a stew. And then I'm going to grate it in my food processor and get it to become a little bit not so chunky and not so much like a meal, but small pieces like that. Just small pieces like that. And you'll see, once you roast them, that gets the oil going. And it actually helps get rid of most of the skin, which is what you want to do. So what I'm going to do is, just so I show my YouTube friends, we'll put this here. This I'm going to turn on, and you put it in small batches. So I'm going to turn this on because this is going to low roast, just like that. And then I'm going to add the chicken. I'm going to start cooking the chicken. And the whole point of this stew is that you slow cook the whole thing. You let it take its time. And if you have a couple of days to do it beforehand, oh my God, even better. So I'm going to add my red onions. You know, I always cook with red onions. Okay, and to that, I'm going to add salt and avocado oil. And I got some flyaways or runaways. I'm going to move this here so the YouTube viewers can see. There's the onion. You can't really see. I might have to change the camera. My avocado oil is right in there. Can you guys see? I think I have to move the camera here. That's better. All right. Cuidado de calabazas. Okay, here we go. That's good. And then here's the chicken. Let's move everything around so everybody has a good view. Turn on the onion and kind of give it a quick saute. Right. Hello. Have to say hi to my YouTubers. And then we're going to add some salt and we're going to season the onions. You can do it when the chicken goes in there. I'm going to do it right now. That way the oil also gets nice and flavorful. And there's no rule that says you can't do that. Here's my salt, 2 teaspoons of salt. I'm going to put 4 teaspoons of turmeric, more salt, paprika. This is all going to get the oil going. And yes, you guessed it, I love cinnamon. In this, it's going to be golden. Oh my God, it's going to be so good. So just a dash more avocado oil. Again, this stew, okay, or horisht, it scares a lot of people. It scares a lot of people because it's time consuming and there are steps. But if you take your time and do the steps properly, then you're fine. This is going to be a breeze. You're going to love making it. I love making it. Whenever we have family gatherings, I offer to make it. A, it's my favorite stew. B, I think it's because it's my favorite. I don't think anyone can top it around me the way I make it. I have to say so myself. Okay, so we're going to get the onion going. And this, I'm trying to still figure out if it's better to put the onion there. Yes, that way I have room to move around and you guys can see what's happening with the walnuts. And here we go. This is sauteing. Ah, señor, yo tiene poquito cebolla aquí. And here are the walnuts. You know I love walnuts. I have soaked walnuts in the refrigerator always. You just, oh, it smells so good already. Already I get the smoky smell from the walnuts. This is getting nice and smoky, roasty. You're gonna see the color of the skin is gonna change slowly. The key is to keep the heat low. You don't add any oil to this. And then our onion is cooking. Again, you want several hours. My sister, who also is an amazing chef, she makes hers in the slow cooker. She just likes to put it in there and forget about it. And that you should do if you're not going to be around, to kind of scoop it around all the time. I'm going to be home today. If I leave, Ara will be here. She knows exactly how to keep an eye on this. Now, because you have the seasoning in there, you are going to put a little bit more oil, because that's the whole point. You want the oil to absorb all that seasoning and flavor. It'll flavor the oil. And then when you add your chicken, it'll be perfection. And you want the onion to sweat a little right before you add the chicken to your pot. You also want the oil to pick up on all of those flavors. That's what you want. Oh, this is so good. Okay, and I can smell this baby roasting. Oh my gosh. It smells so good. Now, here's an important key to know with this. If you roast this slowly, the darker your walnuts roast, the longer they roast on slow heat, the darker your stew is going to get. It's just going to get darker. So some places you might have it and their stew is kind of this color, kind of light brown. I don't like that. Sometimes it's tan. I like my walnut and pomegranate stew to come out this color, dark pomegranate molasses color. Oh my goodness, perfection. And you know, Persians, we love pomegranate, and it is so good for you. So many antioxidants in there. This is heaven. And it's that time of year that your body craves it. You're like, oh my gosh, I need that pomegranate stew. All right, this onion is ready. I smell the onion. More importantly, I smell the seasoning. And I'm going to pop the chicken. I'm only using dark meat, by the way, in there. This is just going to cook down slowly. You can use any chicken you like. I've cooked it with whole chicken. The point though is some people serve it with whole pieces of chicken. I like it shredded. So this chicken is going to cook down. It's going to become shredded. That way, when you pick a spoonful of the stew, it has everything in it. You don't need to go fishing for chicken. And I like it nice and thick. Oh my gosh. Talk about cheat meal. This is the best. I know this is a lot of chicken, but this is a big dish, and I have a lot of pomegranate molasses going in there. I have a lot of walnuts going in there. It's going to become such a superb platter. Now, in terms of seasoning, notice I didn't add any garlic to this. You don't want to overpower it. I'm not going to add much garlic, maybe just half a teaspoon of garlic powder. Just a half a teaspoon, and that was a lot of chicken. This is going to be a big dish, so that's really nothing. And here's the walnuts. Look at the color is changing already. These are nice and brown. Just saute it. Make sure that you move them around the pot because it has, or pan, it has different sections of heat. So you want to evenly distribute the heat with your ingredients. That's another reason you toss it around. And this is going to be ready soon. My chicken's becoming happy right here. And you can just kind of move it around. Look at that gorgeous color. Oh, baby. And then that is going to get transferred into this cast iron dish. My Le Creuset. Oh, yeah, baby. And you want the onions to be little itty bitty chopped. Hello, my lovies. Okay, so you want your onion pieces to be small. They're just going to literally disappear in this stew once it's done. The whole thing is just going to be this thick. You don't even need any carbs with it. I kid you not. I eat this on its own. It is delicious warm. It's good even cold. I mean, you'll see there's nothing bad in there. How could it be bad? It's just so yummy. I want to put it evenly on the stove so it gets all the heat there. This is just going to cook down. It is going to take some chicken broth, or you can add vegetable broth to it. You can add water to it. I'm just going to add chicken broth because I like to enhance that flavor. There we go. Now this batch is done. Some are going to be darker than the others. As you can tell, I want to show you guys. They're really hot. Some are going to be really darker. And some are not as dark, which is perfect. Oop, I lost that one. I'm going to have to fish that out. Now what I will do is get a towel. I like to use a darker dish towel. Because what I'm going to do is move my coffee. I'm going to add it. Batches of this. I can't bring it here because it's too hot. I'm going to add batches of this roasted walnut into my dish towel. I'll show you guys. I just want to, like that, just add a small portion into a darker dish towel. Now I lost two. And then we're going to kind of mush it around in there. Don't be gentle, because if the pieces break, that's fine. Just like that. And then you tap it like that. And then once you open them, the skin has come off. Some of the skin hasn't. But the skin that has fallen off in the bottom, you don't want. And then all you're going to do is transfer this my workspace, people, into your food processor, just like that. We're going to toss this. Don't dump it. You want to put it in with your hand. because you don't want the skin that's in the bottom of this cloth to go in there. Ah, so hot. So super hot. There we go. Get all the little pieces, just leave the skin behind because these little pieces are golden. And I want to show you guys, here's all the skin that you want to toss. This is all the skin that's left over. You want to toss that. You don't want that in your stew because what will happen is it'll rise to the top of your dish. And onward. I'm going to make another batch right here. Let's not burn. That way you guys can see what I'm doing. Right? Everybody can see. Give this a toss. Your chicken is cooking. It's perfect. It smells so good. Just let this simmer. I'm going to add another batch to this. La, 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 la. I told you guys, if you go slow and enjoy the steps, this is the only time-consuming part of this, is really this. The rest, you just kind of pile it in there and let it do its thing. It does its magic. Roll it around. Oh, make sure you don't have little edges that are open. And then just toss them in there. Just pick it up. They're hot. Now, when they're hot, they're going to give off such beautiful oil and essence and flavor and aroma to the entire house. This is so good. Oh, I can't even tell you guys. This dish is so potent, full of nutrients, all from the walnuts and the pomegranate. Oh, it is such a deep, full of depth and flavor. Okay. Yes. Now, the rest of this I'm going to do after I go off because I just want to show you guys what the process is. I'm going to do this one more step. Okay. And then we're going to add, ahora, por favor, tú para mí, quiere agua y una caja de jugo de pollo. Yo pienso su closet. Thank you. Agua caliente, yeah. We're going to add hot water. I'm going to do half and half. I'm going to do chicken broth and I'm going to do chicken broth and I'm going to do hot water. There. That's it. Now try and imagine the consistency is going to be equal parts chicken, I like it, to equal parts about walnuts. Meaning what? Not if you have 5 pounds of chicken, 5 pounds of walnut. I have about 3 pounds of chicken, walnuts, and I'm going to pulse this. That's perfect. Coarsely grated. What does that mean? Coarsely grated. It's not mush. It's not super fine. It's coarsely grated. Be careful when the blade is in there. I've cut my hand that way. That is what you want. You're going to add your chicken broth and water. This is the water. I added the water to the chicken. And then I'm going to add the chicken broth also. This was way more chicken broth than water. So 2/3 is chicken broth. And I've told you guys before, so the rule of the thumb is you want your broth to cover your meat, your chicken, your soup, your stew, whatever, enough room for them to get heated evenly and have enough liquid to cook in. That's what you want. You don't want, for a stew, you do not want the chicken to be sitting halfway in the broth. Now, if this was a roast, you wouldn't need more than halfway. But this, we're making a stew. We need a base. We need this liquid. Now, this chicken is going to cook in here. And I already have a batch of my walnuts. I will add this to this. I know old school would be cook the chicken, then add the walnuts. I'm here to tell you guys the Persian mommies and grandmas are going to come out looking for me. But I promise you, add it as you go along, because what you're doing is you're giving your stew time to absorb the oils from your walnut, and you're letting the walnut layer by layer flavor flavor the stew. Okay, this chicken and walnut, just like that. The walnut goes in there. Oh my God, if you only could smell this. If you could only smell this. Here, you'll see the walnut is sitting in there, right, with the chicken, and you're gonna let this cook down. As I add the walnuts, step by step, I have a whole other batch. See, limpio, no con jabón solo así con toallita. I have this whole other bag, you see, that I'm going to add into this. I don't want to put you guys through that. Come back live again and show you that when the chicken is cooked, that's when I'm going to add my molasses or pomegranate juice. This is going to cook for, I'm going to tell you guys truthfully, 4 hours. So this is going to sit here and slow simmer and cook. I don't want to rush it. I don't want to expedite it. I'm just going to put the lid on this and let the chicken cook. And I'm going to take my time. I'm going to slow roast my walnuts, go through my step, and keep adding it to it. Once the chicken is fully cooked and it's shreddable by itself, meaning what? If I put the spoon in there and go like that, it'll fall apart. That is when I'm going to add the molasses step by step. And at this point, it's all the way you guys want your texture to be. It's all how you guys want the marinade, the taste, the flavor to be. I am going to tell you that in a pot this size, I will easily add, this is 20 ounces. I'm going to easily add 2 to 3 of these. And then I will also add some honey or maple syrup to bring the sweetness level up. Realize there's no sugar in this. And pomegranate molasses is quite tart. So I will use sugar substitute to make sweeter. You could add sugar if you want. Whatever you want. It all comes to your preference and what you guys like. If you want to stay vegetarian, you can add eggplants to this at the very end. You can add mushrooms to this. You can add potatoes, and it will be the most divine creation on earth. Enjoy it. I will be back and show you guys the next step, part 2. And my YouTubers, thank you for watching. I will be back and show you guys part 2 of this as well. Thank you. All right, my lovies. So